This was my first game, and honestly, the idea was never that good. So instead of choosing a better one, I wanted to test something harder. How much can 3D, better design, and 72 hours actually save a bad game idea? But I also gave myself one rule: no 3D models. You see, simple shapes and no real graphics were a core part of the original game, so a fair 3D version had to keep that. And that rule turned out to be way harder than I expected. As I usually do, I asked ChatGPT for some inspiration. That didn't work. Luckily, I've heard in the year 1 BC, they use something called Brain, which I want to test out. Now, with the idea complete, I started by creating a new 3D project in Unity, which is the game engine I'll use for the challenge. Then I installed a few packages, specifically this MCP for Unitair is going to be really helpful when I use AI agents in this challenge. Something that made the game so much more replayable and fun to play is procedural map generation. Oh, you want to know how I made it?
Basically, it stochastically samples valid group positions and rejects anything that breaks distance, topology, or collision coefficient.
Now, after I made a basic player movement script, I also made this Trello board so I can keep track of all the tasks remaining in the challenge. A core part of the original game was that we have tons of unique weapons to choose from, so I spent some time implementing a reusable weapon system and I created 9 unique weapons. Oh fuck. After a juicy gym session, I also implemented this pulsing sky, inspired from the emission pulses in the original, and this made the music just feel alive. Now for some post-processing. Now if you're a normal human and not a giga nerd, then you can basically think of this as makeup for the game. Some juicy jiggling. Oh yeah! For the last hours of the day, I was experimenting with enemies, and this is something I really struggle with. Quick update on the game. As you can see, I've implemented like the most basic things. I've implemented some UI right there, and also these enemies, but the enemies are they kind of speak for themselves, so that's what I'm going to focus on right now. Now, I hear you, but I can't use models, remember? So it's 9:40 right now. I'm really struggling with making the the enemies here without using assets. Like I've tried coming up with a few different ones, like this bastion, a tank, like so many different things, but they all just look like shit and they're just not fun. So I'm really struggling with this. I've spent like 4 hours, like the entire morning, just working on this alone, and I haven't got much else done. So to be honest, I'm really stressed right now. Oh god. At this point, I just wanted to take a break from the enemies, and I designed this main menu, and I also wrote down all the tasks needed done before the release. So I'm using Codex a lot in the development of this, and while it was making the main menu, it just like deleted the entire player. To make things worse, the main menu doesn't even work. Got the main menu done, back to the enemies. Quick update on the game. This day has kind of been shit, I'm going to be honest. I spent so much time working on the enemies and stuff, and the main menu also didn't work as I wanted to. Didn't even go to the gym today, I had like a walk, that's it. I'm kind of fried right now, can't really focus, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to sleep early, and I'm going to wake up really early tomorrow, so that we have many hours that we can work on the game tomorrow. So I think I have like the enemies figured out now. The thing is really to just make it more simple, so it's going to be easier for me to just make them. I really had to force myself through today because I didn't believe in the idea, but I kept going. I was really excited to be done with making the enemy models and the enemy behavior. The next thing that was on my list was just to make particle effects and sound effects for the enemies so they feel better. It's 8:20 right now. I've just been working on a few quick fixes. I've implemented the enemies fully, and I also added the passive squares, as you saw. Basically, right now, I have to have it my main focus to just make the game feel fun. For some reason, I can apparently walk through walls. Like, I swear, this worked perfectly before. So for today, I've implemented all of these things. It's currently 9:20 right now. So I still have a lot of time today. As you can see, I still have to implement the upgrades. I have to implement some enemy sound effects and then obviously the polishing things that I talked about. And the thing with the enemies and stuff, I'm actually really dreading that. I have no idea how I'm going to make them feel better. Now, as you can see, if you go into the upgrades here, I added 12 different upgrades with different levels, the prices, everything. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to test everything. At this point of the challenge, I'm just focusing on polish, and the first thing I completed was the enemy sound effects. Then I tested the upgrades. Then I implemented some particle effects, and that helped a ton with the enemy feel problem we had before. Yo guys, so I'm going to the gym now. The reason why I'm going to the gym, I woke up literally at 4 a.m. It's 12:37 right now, so I worked for like 7 hours straight. So that's like a full work day. I took little to no breaks. So yeah, as you can imagine, I'm really exhausted. Damn. Looking handsome, bro. No, I'm just kidding. I need to go. I spent the rest of the afternoon polishing up the effects, and yeah, that's pretty much the game. Now, on day 4 I woke up at 5 a.m, so I only have 2 hours to make the store page and the build and stuff like that. Luckily, I've done it multiple times before, so this went super smoothly. So, now that the game is finished, what can we actually take away from this? Likely the most obvious one, and also, in my opinion, the most important one, is that the idea of your game is so important. So in the whole Neon Surge idea, it's like you shoot enemies, there are tons of upgrades, tons of different things to do, there are tons of features. Like the idea is basically an overscoped bad game, that's the idea of the game. And in Neon Surge 3D, we had a lot of different things that we had to do. I had to make all the enemies, I had to make the enemy models, I had to make the particle effects, I had to make like 20 different upgrades, I had to make all the weapons, the weapon systems, all these different things I had to make. And there are tons of features, tons that I did, but the core game is not like super fun. And why is that? Well, it's because the core game loop, like the thing that the player does, just isn't fun. So if you're making a game right now, consider thinking about the idea a bit more than you usually do. Spend like a few days even on the idea itself, prototyping, just refining the idea, because that's going to give you a stronger foundation. So you don't need all these different features to make the game feel fun, because if your idea is good, your foundation is good, then your game should be fun in just like a few days when you have a small prototype. So that's it for this video. If you want to have access to the Trello board that I used in this video, you can get it complete for free with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it.